Hey everybody, I'm Rocket Brown. It's time to get down.
I'm Raging Crow, that guy with the fro, and
welcome to another section of what makes us
step over all my lines. What makes the Sonic game work?
Sorry.
You can't have a good game without a good villain. Obviously, your hero is only as good as your heel. And what better of a heel that has lasted throughout the ages, kind of, sort of, maybe, hopefully, than Dr. Robotnik, a.k.a. Dr. Eggman, for all you people who aren't cultured and don't know his real name.
Dr. Ivo Eggman Robotnik.
I like Robotnik, even though Japan made Eggman first. Robotnik sounded way more menacing. Now,
Okay, now, his original bio... His age is officially unknown, so he could be as old as fuck.
Yeah, that's something I always found weird. Like, they never show baby Eggman.
Well, they don't show young Eggman either, so it's
like,
just...
at all.
His age isn't established. We just know he's old. He has an IQ of 300, and they just...
He is really, really smart.
Yes, so yeah, strong points are IQ of 300, and he never gives up. His weak points are he acts childish regardless of his IQ.
Yeah.
And he likes machines, and it just says he dislikes Sonic.
And he's evil!
Honestly, he could probably be a Brody, but just make sure none of those unicorns are blue. My God.
God help you if any of these are blue!
Yeah, pretty much. So Eggman... jeez.
Interesting villain, I will say that. He's very interesting because Eggman, the one thing I like about Eggman is he's not a cold-blooded killer, but he's also not a cartoony comic book villain either.
He's the guy who's trying to... He basically I actually don't know how to...
Doom-esque to me. He reminds me a lot of Dr. Doom because...
Dr. Doom, yeah, there we go.
Because he thinks he's the best guy to rule the world. Yeah. And that's Doom's mentality. He's got that arrogance where he's like, I am the most... only I have the electronic metal brains to rule the Marvel world.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, his entire goal throughout the entire series is just to build Eggman Land.
Yeah, he wants to build Eggman/Robotnik Land, and he wants to make it a entire city made out of machines. So, I mean, and on one hand, you could be like, well, Dr. Robotnik is pushing the technological agenda, which could benefit mankind, if you think about it.
He could, but at the same time, he'd be kind of a dictator type thing.
Exactly.
Type guy. Because keep in mind, I think they kind of hint. I like how they hint at it in the old games. Like you notice, the one Sonic 1 and 2, his boss themes were very militaristic and whatnot, as opposed to Sonic 3, who were very action packed.
No, and
I thought that was a nice touch.
That's true. It works for him because if you think about Robotnik as a villain, you might not necessarily be against him right off the bat.
Right.
Because, well, obviously, dude has made technological marvels that the rest of the world has yet to repeat or replicate. Mm-hmm. So, dude is a very compelling villain and also brings a very compelling case. Now, what makes a villain good is not evil for the sake of evil. He's not evil. He thinks he's doing the right thing in his own eyes, and that's how all villains should be written if you want to write them correctly.
Right.
Robotnik, to me, was never a joke villain, not right off the bat. And one of the things that really proved that to me was my favorite scene, which is Sonic Adventure 2, where he kidnaps Amy and holds her hostage at gunpoint to show that he means fucking business. Now, I don't believe he would have shot Amy because Robotnik has never really bloodied his hands, if you know what I mean.
You're right.
There's never been and I guess it's one of those things where, yeah, it's a kid's game, but even still, he doesn't seem like the type who's I'll kill him, whatever. Destroy, blow their heads off. That's not his... He's not Kefka. Right. He's definitely not Kefka. But what he does do is he's almost in a sense, preserving life under his own terms.
Mm-hmm.
you follow me. And I find that really interesting. That's why I think that Robotnik is actually quite a compelling villain if written correctly, because you can make it seem like, yeah, I'm a dictator, blah, 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 but, I mean, I'll make the world run efficiently, and you're not going to complain about that. Aren't you really going to complain when you have, like, robot jet-powered sports cars?
No.
Exactly. Now, as far as Robotnik's character, he's actually kind of interesting because, yeah, although he is childish, because dude's got like the worst temper issues like that can be imagined.
He has a big temper and a big ego. Yeah. That's pretty much why he's childish.
But he knows how to keep it in check, at least in the early games. If you noticed in the early games, he would still create partnerships and allies. Like in with Knuckles and Rouge. I mean, not Knuckles and Rouge. Well, technically Knuckles, actually.
Yeah, Knuckles.
Rouge, Shadow. He's made allies. He's made comrades, and he's actually shown that he gives a damn about his comrades. You know, worrying about Shadow when it comes to him not getting off the island.
Yeah.
But I actually really appreciate the fact that they show that Eggman is not just the stereotypical comic book villain that runs out, does a dramatic speech, and is just like, kneel before Zod, you know?
Actually, one scene that actually interests me is actually from the handheld games. In Sonic 2, the first boss, you roll off the hill and you're about to fall in the lava pit, but then Eggman saves you. So you're like, wait, is he a good guy now? But then he drops you only to have his machines fight you.
Because you kind of got that Wolf O'Donnell syndrome from Starbucks where it's like, the only person who's going to tan your hide is me.
Yeah, pretty much. And I thought that was hilarious.
And that's his ego, because if you think about it, any other normal villain would be like, oh, look, Sonic's careening into a lava pit.
That's convenient. Yeah, no, I wanted to create him into a lava pit.
Exactly. Right?
Not nature.
I wanted to do it with my own hands. Get a load of this. But if you really pay attention to Eggman dialogue, he only does like the grandiose, like cartoon villain speeches when he believes he has the upper hand. You know, he doesn't come in all the time and twirl his mustache and laugh and blah, 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 blah. You know, he only does that when he thinks he has the upper hand. Prime example, Sonic Adventure 1. Let's do a checklist here. He only does
that through
speeches.
All of
He does when he thinks that he's winning. Like, he fights Sonic and Tails in the first boss, and he does the speech. But the thing about it is even though they beat his machine, he steals a Chaos Emerald.
Yeah. And then in the Casino Night Zone where he makes him pass out.
Yeah.
And then where he tricks Knuckles, and then he gets more Chaos Emeralds. Mm-hmm. So he pretty much does it through like the entire game.
But that's only because he believes he's winning.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
and it does seem like it at first.
When Robotnik is losing, he is not like, oh, I'm the greatest scientific mind of the world. No, he's just like, you pesky hedgehog, I'll kick your ass. You know? And that works for him. Robotnik now is a joke. A severe comic book Saturday morning cartoon special joke.
But he blew up the planet.
Yeah, congratulations. He blew up the planet. He also gets ridiculed by his own creations, Orbot and Cubot. He also got ridiculed by his past self. That to me is disheartening for a villain.
You know what? You're absolutely right.
God, I am a loser in the future. Maybe I should quit the mad scientist racket and start teaching again. Like, that to me, death. He just killed the character.
No more Sonic games.
Right? Because, okay, I mean, in a lot of other games they brought in other villains, but I still have yet to find another villain in a Sonic game.
That's as good as Robotnik.
Yeah, there hasn't been one to me.
No, there hasn't. Shadow.
Yeah, Shadow. That was it. And Shadow only in Adventure 2. Because in Adventure 2, if you think about it literally, he was the real villain the whole time.
Yeah.
But Robotnik has gone from, you know, imprisoning him and robots to like teaming up with Sonic on an almost all the time basis to being like a stupid flunky in the weird storybook games. You know, Robotnik is literally a joke. He gets like slapstick comedy thrown at him. He gets like a wrench tossed at him or something, and then everyone laughs and the children giggle and ha 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 because it's funny. We can't have Robotnik be menacing, it seems. At least now, because I have yet to be like, ooh, that's chilling. Like, there will never be a Robotnik that matches Sonic Sad AM Robotnik, you know?
Because he was satisfied. Because they actually made him. Well, for one, they basically took the American design and said, how do we make this even more terrifying than it already is?
Exactly.
And it worked.
It makes it work. Like, he was freaking frightening.
He was like it was funny, it's like he had that kind of the Dennis Hopper acting, which was like over the top evil.
Yeah, very Vincent Price, you know?
Yeah, there we go. That's a better Vincent
Where he's
Price.
just like, yes, dreams were meant to be broken. You know, and he's just got that really low, deep voice, and it's absolutely petrifying. He's got these glowing eyes, and he's just looking at you.
I know, they don't give him the glasses. They just like red eyes.
Yeah, it's perfect. And the thing about it is, every time they thought they had him beat, he was always a step ahead using his IQ. Now I'm starting to believe that his IQ of 300 is more like his IQ of .300 instead of 300. If you want to make a compelling Robotnik villain, we're not saying that you have to have him go on a murderous rampage. That's not the case at all. What you have to have Robotnik do is to actually have victories. Little small victories. And we're not saying he has to be the winner of the entire end game. But like in Sonic Adventure 1, Robotnik had a lot of small victories. You know, he stole the Chaos Emeralds from them on multiple occasions. He actually powered up Chaos to the version 6. He actually had the egg carrier and managed to abduct Amy. You know, he had all these little victories. In the new games, he doesn't have these little victories. He, in fact, created his dream city of Robotnik Land off camera.
And then it gets destroyed.
Yep.
Ah, jeez. I actually wanted to bring up that that's actually the case in the Archie comics. Even after the revamp with the After Adventure, like Eggman, he destroys Sonic's hometown. I think one of his best friends died at the hands of Eggman, and he almost nearly. You remember Antoine? Yeah. He actually sabotages Metal Sonic to blow up in his face, and he almost dies.
Nice.
And he actually roboticizes Sonic's girlfriend, Sally Eggman.
Oh, I remember that. I do remember that.
And so he's just like his reactions to all of this is just like he's giggling like a little school child, and it's entertaining.
Yeah, because
but it's also compelling.
He's winning. That's the thing about it. It's like he's getting his victory. He's getting his rocks off to it, and it's like I can't blame him. Like especially in the games, dude just is ridiculed up and down. You can't have if you're gonna have a villain that's a complete and utter joke, then the game player, like us, the player, will not be considering him a threat. We won't. We'll just be like, oh, he'll come in, twirl his mustache, someone will throw a wrench at him, his robots will laugh, and then we'll beat him up, and then we'll go home and eat pizza. You know, that's how Robotnik's villainousness.
He was kind of like the Shredder in the old Ninja Turtle cartoons.
Yeah. So if you want to make Robotnik work, you got to give him little victories. You got to give him a compelling personality. You cannot make him a slapstick sideshow character that gets mocked and ridiculed. Yeah, it's one thing for Sonic to talk shit to him, but it's another thing for his own creations to talk shit to him. You know, in the Sonic Sat AM cartoon, Snively would talk shit under his breath.
Because he's scared of them.
Robotnik heard him. Oh, dear God.
Yeah, pretty much.
And roboticizer, and that'd be it.
Yeah. Actually, we probably have more to say about it, but we'll be right back.